Schopenhauer's dangerous teaching, the art of Eristic Dialectic. Have you ever lost an argument even though you were telling the truth? Today, we dissect one of the most dangerous teachings from the cynical German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. His posthumously published work, Eristic Dialectic, the art of always being right, is both fascinating and controversial. This book is not about the pursuit of truth. It's about the art of winning an argument, regardless of right or wrong. Schopenhauer believed that because of human vanity and stubbornness, people rarely admit they're wrong. Instead, they fight to win even at the expense of truth. Thus, he presented 38 techniques, like the swordplay of rhetoric, for defeating opponents in debate. 1. Understanding Eristic Dialectic. In his preface, Schopenhauer distinguishes between logic and dialectic. Traditional dialectic seeks truth through reasoned dialogue, but Eristic Dialectic focuses solely on defending one's position and refuting the opponent to appear victorious. Here, objective truth is irrelevant. What matters is appearing right before the audience. He explains that this tendency doesn't come from malice, but from human vanity and intellectual pride. Once people make a claim, they cling to it whether it's true or not. Schopenhauer drew inspiration from Aristotle's Topica, yet reinterpreted it in a more pragmatic, even deceptive way. He didn't necessarily endorse these methods morally, rather. He exposed them so that people could recognize and defend themselves against such rhetorical trickery. 2. The 38 ways to win an argument. Below are Schopenhauer's 38 strategies, summarized and illustrated for modern readers. 1. Exaggerate your opponent's claim. Widen their statement to an extreme so you can easily attack it, while keeping your own claim narrow and defensible. Example: opponent: young people today lack manners. You mean all young people have no manners? That seems unfair. 2. Exploit ambiguity. If a word has multiple meanings, twist it to suit your argument. Example: every light disappears in darkness. Do you mean even the light of wisdom? 3. Turn specific claims into general ones. Make a limited statement sound absolute. Example: opponent: this policy was disappointing. You think every policy from that party is a failure? 4. Hide your intention. Don't reveal your conclusion too early. Lead your opponent into agreeing with your premises first, then strike with the conclusion. 5. Use false premises. If your opponent accepts wrong assumptions, use them to prove your point even if your conclusion is false. 6. Hide a circular argument. Rephrase the conclusion as a premise without letting them notice. 7. Lead by questioning. Overwhelm your opponent with rapid questions that steer them into admitting what helps you. 8. Make them angry. An angry opponent loses control and makes mistakes. 9. Confuse them with random questions. Disorder their train of thought so they can't follow your reasoning. 10. Exploit reverse psychology. Ask in a way that makes a contrarian opponent say what you want. 11. From individual to general. Turn a few examples into a universal rule. 12. Choose a favorable metaphor. Frame your claim positively and theirs negatively. This is the power of framing effect. 13. Force a false dilemma. Offer two choices, one absurd, one yours, so your side seems like the only reasonable one. 14. Declare victory confidently. Even when you're losing, act as if you've won. 15. Use complex or vague statements. Throw in academic or mysterious-sounding lines to confuse your opponent. 16. Expose contradictions. Use your opponent's own words or past actions against them. 17. Add subtle distinctions. Refine or narrow your claim to escape a strong rebuttal. 18. Change the topic. When cornered, switch to a different subject entirely. 19. Go from the specific to the abstract. Deflect by shifting from a concrete issue to a general one. 20. Let the audience draw the conclusion. Get agreement on premises, then stay silent. The listener will reach the desired conclusion themselves. 21. Fight sophistry with sophistry. When faced with trickery, respond in kind to expose its weakness. 22. Dismiss their argument as a mere demand. Belittle their logical claim as just personal desire. 23. Provoke overstatement. Push your opponent until they exaggerate, then attack that exaggeration. 24. Distort and misinterpret. Twist their words to create a false version, then refute that. 25. Use a single counterexample. Find one exception to a general claim and declare the whole thing false. 26. Turn their argument against them. Use their reasoning to defeat them, a rhetorical judo move. 27. Keep attacking their sensitive spot. If they react emotionally, you've found their weak point. 28. Play to the audience, not logic. When the crowd is uneducated, use humor or simplicity to win applause. 29. Derail the discussion entirely. If losing, shift to a totally unrelated topic. 30. Appeal to authority. Invoke famous people, tradition, or popular opinion instead of logic. 31. Feign ignorance with irony. Pretend not to understand, making their argument seem overly complex. 32. Associate them with a hated group. Label their stance as extremist, outdated, or immoral. 33. Claim it works in theory but not in practice. A classic way to undermine without refuting logically. 34. Refuse to answer directly. Evade uncomfortable questions with vague replies. 35. Appeal to self-interest. Imply that agreeing with you benefits them or disagreeing harms them. 36. Overwhelm with words. Use a flood of jargon and long-winded speech to dominate. 37. Attack weak evidence. Refute a poor proof to make the entire claim look false. 38. When all else fails, go personal. If you can't win logically, insult the opponent. This, Schopenhauer says, is the lowest but sometimes effective tactic. 3. Schopenhauer's intent and the value of the book. Schopenhauer didn't necessarily advocate using these tricks. Many scholars believe he wrote them to expose the dishonest tactics people already use, so that readers can recognize, defend against, and perhaps master them when needed. He compared debate to intellectual swordplay. You must know your opponent's moves to protect yourself. This book provides realistic insight into human psychology and the nature of argument, self-defense against manipulative rhetoric, critical thinking by revealing logical fallacies, communication awareness, useful in debates, politics, and media. 4. Limitations and ethical reflection. Of course, these techniques can be morally dangerous. They focus on winning, not truth or respect. Used carelessly, they destroy trust and meaningful conversation. In today's world, where authenticity and transparency matter, blindly applying Schopenhauer's tricks can be harmful. Yet understanding them improves our media literacy and debate literacy, helping us recognize manipulation in politics, advertising, or online discourse. 5. Conclusion. Schopenhauer's 38 Ways to Win an Argument is a mirror to human nature, revealing our vanity, pride, and the dark side of rhetoric. These techniques are a double-edged sword. They can protect truth or corrupt it. So use them not to deceive, but to understand how deception works. Recognize when others employ them, and avoid falling into their traps. Finally, remember, the true purpose of debate is not victory, but mutual understanding and the pursuit of truth. Only when logic and sincerity unite does persuasion become truly powerful.